Welcome to Daily Stretch 5. Start in an all-four position. Take the breath in, breathe out and tilt the pelvis underneath the body and the chin to the chest to arch into count. Then breathe in and tilt the pelvis and bring the head up into count. Arching the spine, up and down, just loosening the back off and making the spine start to move. Then come up into plank position and then breathe out and press the hips high. Using the same motion as cat-cow, roll the body forward, bringing the hips underneath, rolling through the back and lifting the head up, then dropping the hips down to the floor into an upward facing dog. Drive the chest through and push the hips down. Then bring the head back under and roll the spine back up through the top into the hips. And then when the body is back into the downward facing dog position, push the spine through towards the thighs and then come back down onto all fours. As you come down onto all fours, thread the needle through to the left hand side. Taking the left arm as far forward as you can, try and rotate the body so you're laid on the right shoulder. Bring the body back up onto all fours and thread the needle through to the right. Taking the left arm through and work the right arm as far forward as you can go. Once again, trying to get the body over onto the shoulder. Thread the needle and sit onto the heels. Interlock the fingers in front of the chest and press the palms away from the body, and then drop the head between the arms, driving the hands away and rounding the shoulders. Work on rounding the top of the back and really drive the hands away, stretching through the forearms and into the shoulders. Keep pushing all the time and develop the stretch as you go. Release the hands from in front of the body and bring yourself back onto all fours. Take the breath in, breathe out and push back with the hips up into downward facing dog. And then roll the spine once again, working from the hips through the back into the shoulders. Trying to slow the motion down. As you come through, lift the crown of the head up and drop the hips again towards the floor into upward facing dog. Bring the chin into the chest now and roll back through the spine and then up into downward facing dog, driving the chest through towards the thighs as you get to the top of the movement. Turn the heels to the left hand side and rotate the hips over slightly to the left, stretching down the side of the back to the right. Push the chest through and you'll feel an increased stretch down the right side of the body. Tip the hips and the heels now to the right hand side and you'll feel a stretch down the left. Once again, keep pressing the chest through. Come into the centre line, drop to the knees and sit back into child's pose. Turning the hands palm upwards to rest the wrists. Drive the hips back and press the chest down. Rest the head on the floor and work on relaxing through the muscles of the back as you press the hips into the heels. Sit up onto the heels, take the breath in, breathe out and rotate round to the right hand side. Bring the right hand in line with the spine and press the chin towards the shoulder on the right hand side. Breathe into the centre and then rotate round to the left as you breathe out. Bring the left hand close to the spine and then work the chin towards the shoulder again. Come forward with the rotation, bring the legs in front, interlock the fingers and then thumbs down the back of the neck, hands palm facing the back of the head and elbows out. Then bring the elbows together, take the breath in, soften the knees, breathe out and roll the shoulders forward. And as the shoulders come forward, make the elbows as heavy as you can. Don't squeeze the head with the hands, just bring the elbows together and the weight of the elbows will pull and stretch the back of the neck and into the traps. Straighten the legs now and pull the toes towards the shins. Sit deep into the stretch, nice stretch down through the back. Come up from the stretch and bring yourself into a cross-leg position. Sit on the right hand or place it behind the back. Bring the left arm over the top, grab hold of the ear. Breathe out and tilt the head over to the left hand side and then rotate the chin to the left shoulder, stretching down the traps. Gently release the stretch. Bring the left hand underneath the bum and behind the back. Take the right arm over the top, tilt the head over to the right, and then bring the chin into the right shoulder. Once again, stretching down the side of the neck and into the top of the back. Gently release the neck. Come into a long leg sitting position. Take the hands high as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, forward fold towards the toes. Hooking the fingers over the toes or around the big toe. Relax through the back of the legs. Let the knees be soft. And stretch down the back of the legs and into the lower back. Tucking the chin in towards the chest and pressing the chest down towards the thighs. A nice seated forward fold. Gently release the stretch. Soften the knees now by bringing them to a 45-degree angle. Reach back down over the feet, heel of the hand over the top of the toes, and then push the heels away from the body as you pull the toes towards the shins, stretching through the back of the lower leg, and again into the back of the upper leg. Press the chest down into the thighs, and the chin into the chest. Come up onto all fours, bring the hands underneath the shoulders then step forward with the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Tuck the toes on the left leg as you push the weight forward, stretching through the back of the right leg and the front of the left. Toes tucked to stretch the hip flexor. Push the weight forward a little more, and then bring the weight back into the pelvis, and then push the weight forward again. Hold it for a moment, and then bring the weight back. Push it forward again, a little bit of dynamic movement through the hips. Bring it back, push forward again, bring it back, and push forward and drive a little deeper into the stretch. Bring it back last time and push forward again. One more time, bring it back, then push forward and hold. Try and develop the stretch by driving the weight forward throughout the stretch. Gently bring the weight back and sit back into child's pose, just countering the stretch by closing the hips up and push the chest down towards the thighs. Then come up onto all fours, bringing the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Tuck the toes on the right this time and press the weight forward as you breathe out. Then making the dynamic movement by moving the weight backwards over the knee and then pushing it forward again. Keep trying to drive forward each time, coming back and forward, pulling the body back, pressing the body weight forward, trying to go a little deeper each time. Bringing it back again, pushing forward, drive the weight forward, deeper into the hips, and then hold the position, developing the stretch by keeping the weight driving forward and the hips pushing down. Hold it for a little longer. Now bring the body weight back and sit back into child's pose, driving the chest down towards the floor, turning the hands palm upwards to rest the wrists, and then come up onto all fours. Take the knees out to the edge of the mat and bring the feet to follow, and then sit the hips back between the heels and press the chest down. Let the head fall against the mat and then work on pressing the hips down as low as you can, trying to get the hips to be as low as the chest. Opening the hips and developing an inner thigh stretch. Come up onto all fours, bring the knees and feet together, and then push up high into downward facing dog. Driving the chest back, look back towards those toes, squeeze down the back to bring the shoulders away from the ears. Keep pressing the hips high, keep the knees soft, and work on those shoulders, pushing the chest through as much as possible. Come forward through plank, bring the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Once again press the weight forward as we did before, but this time, using the arm, press the knee out to the side to open the hip. Grab hold of the foot if you can, rest the foot on the side, hold the foot to pin it in position and drive the right knee away from the body, opening the hip up as much as you can. Keep pressing the weight forward and drive the hips towards the front of the mat. Gently release the stretch now and come back onto all fours. Knees and feet together, hands spread wide, and then push up into downward facing dog. Stretching that hip out in the opposite direction by driving the hips high and dropping the heels down. Press the chest through and stretch through the shoulders. Gently come out of downward facing dog, coming back through plank, and bring the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Once again, press the weight forward, and then use the left arm to drive the knee away. Place the hand on the foot, tilt the foot out to the side, and then continue to press the hips forward and the left knee out to the left hand side. Bring the foot back and sit back into child's pose. Once again, turn those hands palm upwards. Rest the wrists, press the hips back, press the chest down. Bring the feet and knees out towards the edge of the mat. Tuck the toes, breathe out and take the hips high into downward facing dog. Nice and wide through the legs, press the hips up to the ceiling and the heels down towards the floor. Drive the chest through towards the space of the feet. Come forward into plank and drop down to the knees. Bring the elbows onto the mat, underneath the shoulders, palms flat, and then drive the hips high. Pressing the chest through, back towards the space between the feet, opening the shoulders up. Come forward and then down onto the knees. Sit high onto the heels and bring the hands behind the back. Press the hands down towards the floor and the chin into the chest to stretch down through the back of the neck and in the back of the shoulders. Release the stretch and bring yourself into sitting. Keep the left leg long, bring the right heel into the groin, then breathe out and reach down for the toes of the left leg. Just a quick stretch through the back of the leg before we sit up, and bring the right heel over the left thigh. Use the left arm to hold the right knee and rotate round to the right hand side. Then squeeze the knee tight in towards the chest to stretch through the side of the hip. Gently release the stretch, legs next to each other, and then bring the left heel into the groin and start the process again. Reach down, this time for the toes on the right leg. A quick stretch through the back of the leg. Before we sit up and bring the left heel over the right leg. Use the right arm to grab hold of the left knee and rotate round to the left. Squeeze in the knee, tie it in towards the chest. Gently release the stretch and bring yourself down onto your back. Bring the knees into the chest and the chin into the chest to form the ball. Nice stretch through the back of the body. Release the legs, keep hold of the right knee. Take hold of it with the left hand and take the right hand over the top. Keep the shoulders flat on the mat and rotate the right knee over to the left hand side. Push the right hand away from the body as much as you can to stretch all the way through the lats and into the hips. Release the stretch, bring the right hand onto the right knee. Keep the pelvis as flat as you can as you pull the right knee out to the right hand side and then up towards the right shoulder. Opening the hip up and stretching through the inside of the thigh. Gently bring the right knee into the centre line. Take the right leg long, bring the left one into tabletop, take hold of it with the right hand. Left hand over the top of the body and push it away. Keeping the shoulders flat against the mat, rotate the hips over to the right hand side. Once again, stretching down through the back and into the hip. Gently release it, change the hands onto the knee and then drop the knee over to the left hand side, trying to keep the pelvis as flat as you can, opening the hip up again and stretching on the inside of the thigh. Gently release it. Bring the left foot in and bring both heels together close to the bum. Put the soles of the feet together and open the knees wide. Take the breath in, breathe out and drive the hips up to the ceiling as you bring the hands over the top of the body. The harder you drive through the glutes, the more open the hips will become. Having the hands over the top of the head helps the spine move. Keep driving the glutes hard up into the pelvis to make the hips open and stretch. Bring the hips down and then bring the knees and the chin into the chest to form the ball. Release the ball and take the hands over the top of the head. Then using the core muscles, squeeze and roll the pelvis towards the stomach and hold the knees over the chest. Then extend the legs to start to stretch through the back of the legs. Release the feet to the mat. Take the breath in, breathe out and roll the body all the way over, trying to get the feet and the hands together. Press the knees in towards the shoulders, stretching through the lower back and into the legs. And then roll the shoulders slightly backwards and forwards and left and right. If this is too much, go back to being into the ball and try and tighten the ball as much as you can. Gently release the legs, use the core and roll the body back down onto the mat. Slow, controlled. And then push the feet and hands away from each other to stretch through the body. Then bring the knees into the chest and roll yourself up and round onto all fours. Once on all fours, make sure the knees are underneath the hips, hands under the shoulders. Take the breath in, breathe out, roll the pelvis underneath the body, and then roll the spine all the way up through the shoulders and finally tucking the chin in. Then untuck the chin first and roll the spine back into neutral, all the way back down to the pelvis. Then roll the pelvis under, roll the spine up and tuck the chin, making the spine move like a wave up and down. Come out of the all-four position and sit back onto your bum. Bring the legs into a 90-90 position. So the right leg 90 degrees in front of the body and the left one 90 degrees out to the side. And then rotate the body round to the right and round to the left, just to help continue to open the hips up, pressing the hips down into the mat all the time. Try and breathe out from the stomach as you rotate and rotate a little bit further each time. As you come around this time, swap the legs over, left leg in front and right leg to the side, and then continue to rotate left and right, trying to increase the rotation each time. Make this your last rotation and then bring the body onto the back. Take the arms out into crucifix and then bring the hands back onto the ribcage. Legs into tabletop and then rotate the hips over to the left hand side. Then bring the right knee towards the left shoulder, using the left hand to pull it up to stretch through the back and into the side of the hips. If the shoulders have stayed flat, you can always look out to the right hand side. Gently release, bring the legs back into the center point, and then rotate the hips over to the right hand side. Bring the left knee towards the right shoulder, use the right hand to pull it up, and turn the head over to the left hand side. Once again stretching through the back and up into the hips. Gently release the stretch. Bring the knees into the chest and sit up and come round onto your heels. Sitting the bum onto the heels, just gentle stretch through the quads. And I hope you enjoyed Daily Stretch 5.